Like I'll be wanting to explain that to Ant in the group so bad, but look, fam, AEW, that's D League, fam. That's G League basketball. Nobody watches the G League.
This is the way I had to explain to somebody who doesn't watch wrestling but wants to know why wrestling comes on every day. I said wrestling is actually broken into three significant categories. Okay. The easiest way to describe it is there's the college of wrestling, there is the D League, international leagues, and then there's the pros. Even though they're all considered professional wrestlers, there's levels to this shit. Okay. Your college levels are usually things like your local wrestling shows or name shows that you know about that don't really come on TV where you are. Like I've been watching Hog Wrestling lately because
Oh, I think that's that down south shit. I think Master
yeah,
P was in on that.
yeah, I think, and then I'll also occasionally I'll catch Booker T's location. It may be the same one. I just can't, but I've been getting a lot of the Hog Wrestling things posted. They come up on my Instagram. So I'll catch their clips, I'll see their things, and they be having some. I don't know who do their flyers, but fam, they need to get hired by AEW or the WWE because the way it be looking is dope. Because for some odd reason, low key has a match or is a feud he's in, and they're like detectives. Like he has this whole entire detective look where he's trying to solve the case of the bad wrestling match or something like that. It's something wild, dog. And I'm like, this is interesting. I'm interested in this. I also told him another way you can tell that someone's the college level of wrestling if the only way you can watch their pay-per-views is on the Fight TV app.
There's a lot of shit over there on the Fight TV. Yeah.
It is a lot over there, but that's how you know it's college. These are all these different federations that are usually key to certain regional areas. They're like the UCLA's and the Dukes and the Villanuevas of wrestling. Some of these federations who have Fight TV apps because BCW, which is where we come from, we still have some good names that come out of here, but it's like let's be honest, ain't nobody driving from Tennessee to catch a match up here at BCW if they don't personally know someone on the card, right?
That's a fact.
Exactly. Then you have, like you refer to it as the D League, I call it the international leagues. And this is where your AEWs, your Impact, your Ring of Honor sit at, where names you know are there. So your college people then got caught up and they now are wrestling dark matches or mid card matches. And then people who are kind of out their way on the door of the professional wrestling, they're here too. They're your reasons to want to watch, Manchester United of wrestling. This is where AEW sits at. Because let's be honest, Jericho is never going to truly be wrestling at no Great Lakes Wrestling if the money ain't right. Because most of the time, these kind of federations can't afford that big of a name unless it's their biggest event. So then you might get the Jericho Appreciation Society because you shelled out $8,000 for all of them to come there because by you doing it at your 4th of July extravaganza, you know you're going to have enough bodies. You're going to get that 8 back plus another 4. So this move might make sense to you, right? But they're still, like you said, the D League. They're not big enough to be where the minors are. Now, my thing is NXT, to me, honestly, Juan, I'm going to be honest with you, it's technically D League-ish.
No, I will call NXT the WNBA because just like the WNBA, it's owned by the NBA.
True.
Just how many people care about the WNBA? Not a lot.
I
And
can't.
how many people care about NXT? Not a lot. There's a very small niche group of people who really rock with the current NXT. Like we all love it. Just at one point in time, we all was like the WNBA is cool. Like Cheryl Swoops and Lisa Leslie, Rebecca Lobo. Like it had the stars, just like NXT did when we got the Adam Coles, the Finn Balor's, and Shinsuke, Sami Zayn. Like it had stars, but eventually, just like WNBA, people retired. So now we got to bring in these new people. We got to draft people. It's a few in the WNBA, but it's not making enough noise to be like, all right, I'm watching this on a consistent basis.
But
And I feel like that's what
but that
NXT does. Like it's a few, but it's not enough to be like, I'm watching this every Tuesday.
but the I give you that because that's probably a good example. But the reason why I more so call it like the D League is it is a direct pipeline to the NBA. Like the D League has this talent exchange where, hey, you're not good enough to be a 12th man on this team, so we're going to send you down here for a minute because at least you can be the starting 5 down here. Like you may not be good for the Milwaukee Bucks, but you can bust ass for the Milwaukee Herd. That's how I feel with NXT because how many times have we seen people who were up here getting mollywopped, but when they go down to NXT, we're utilizing. Prime most recent, Dolph Ziggler was down there making hella noise that he's never been able to make up here in a long time. The New Day is really only down there because with the Bloodline having a stranglehold on the belts, you have a great team that sells merchandise, but we don't have anything to go along with it. So they can only throw pancakes for so long. So we send you down here and says, hey, we got some tag teams that are retiring. We got some tag teams that are getting stale. The Bloodline, new fresh blood. Let's go down here and get you guys ready to come up. That's why I feel like that's like the epitome of what the D League is NXT. And then, of course, the WWE is the pros. I don't care what anybody says. There is not a single person who has ever laced up boots to say they've never wanted to wrestle in the WWE. Never.
That's all I be trying to get niggas to understand. Like, you can work for anybody in the world, bro. You can work wherever you want because most people do. But as a professional wrestler, it's just like saying that you want to work here, but you don't want to be the world champion. Everybody wants to be if you get in the business, everybody wants to be the world champion.
Right.
That's fine. And if you are some kind of star in this business, you cannot tell me that it's never ran across your mind. It's like, yo, I could wrestle at WrestleMania. Like,
big facts.
Bro, they selling out football stadiums on the consistent basis every year, and now they do it for a weekend. Like WrestleMania is so big, bro. It's too nice. There's no way I can't get on this card if I'm a star.
And let's be honest, bro. As a wrestler, the day you go to your daddy and says, "Daddy, I don't want to work at the law firm. I want to come be a wrestler." It's a match you've seen in the WWE that made you want to make that change. You know that's where the money is. That's where you work hard to get to. You're not going to sit here and tell me you want to just be in Ring of Honor for 12, 13 years and never make it to the biggest stage of them all. There is no stage bigger than WrestleMania. The problem that I feel like, and this is what some of these fans do, is they say because their favorite wrestler can't still be their favorite wrestler under a Vince McMahon structure, they feel like their wrestler is too good for the WWE. But at the end of the day, their favorite wrestler is dreaming for the day they could be in the WWE. Like, even those who took, you gotta look about it, bro. You don't take a dumbass gimmick at a company unless you see that this company is where you want to be at.
That is true.
Because if you telling me I don't have to be a dumbass who goes by Meaver Cleaver, I can literally go to this B or C level company, be the person I'm supposed to be, and I can still wrestle. You gonna take that beaver cleavage one because one, that paycheck is gonna be way better than they do down there. Two, you get the exposure, and three, you just gotta ride this gimmick out.
I would be Beaver Cleaver,
I wouldn't be Beaver Cleaver.
not Beaver Cleaver.
Nope. Would you be would you be Renegade?
Nah,
You could come work in the WWE, but you are going to be the knockoff Ultimate Warrior.
nah, bro. That was doomed from Jump Street.
That's because it was done in WCW. And that's another thing. We do not have another company that can give you the money that the WWE can. AEW can give you the TV time, and yeah, you can wrestle and still go do other assignments, but the WWE puts you in a position where you don't really want to go wrestle nowhere else unless there's some special event. So, like currently, like right now, I wouldn't see Sammy or Kevin Owens asking Triple H, "Hey man, my birthday coming up this weekend. Can I go do this show in Ring of Honor?" They're not just gonna be like, "Yeah, I want to go take 3 shows over here in Ring of Honor since my storyline is done, and then when you could think of something for me, I'll close it out and come back." No, you don't need to do that because if you don't have a storyline, you can go on this house show tour. So while you're going on this house show tour, I'm gonna give you the opportunity to try some new things out. Try some new moves. Maybe try a different gimmick. Maybe I'm gonna pair you up with somebody and let's see how much the fan like you with this particular person. And then as that starts to pick up, then we'll bring you back on TV. We'll test you in a couple of tournaments over here, put you in a couple of matches and see how that gets over. Maybe do a vignette or two. Worst case scenario, hey, I'm gonna put you as someone trying to recruit somebody down from NXT. So you're gonna be down there for about 3 months. You don't have to go work with anybody else. There's cats I turn on TV. I see them on Impact. I see them on Ring of Honor. I see them on AEW. And then they'll pop up on a flyer for a house show for a local wrestling thing down here. So why wouldn't I want to be in the WWE? Especially now. Now is the perfect time to be here.
I also feel like with the WWE, like you was just saying, it's bigger than just like what's in the ring. Like I feel like the opportunities outside of the WWE are bigger than if you work somewhere else.
Big facts. When was the last time you seen somebody from AEW pop up in a movie?
You don't. And I'm not saying that they won't get there. It's just like right now,
it's not there.
The things you get with WWE are a little better than working elsewhere. Like TNA didn't really have a video game. They had one video game.
They had one video game, but the company went under. But I get where you're getting at, but I want to go ahead and say this about anybody who never played the TNA game.
No, it's not about what's better. It's just about the opportunity. Like WWE has an infrastructure that we have been doing this since the dark ages of video games. They've been doing this since regular Nintendo.
Man, hey,
so like
some of their games was trash back in the day.
But I'm saying though, like
the opportunity was there, right?
You're working for a company that has a lineage and like we do video games, we do merchandise, we do licensing. So whether R-Truth wrestles another match or not, as long as he's employed, he's always going to be on the video game. He's always going to get some kind of rinky-dink spot on Peacock to do. Like he had this little thing where he was doing like a little game show. Like R-Truth always got a job because the WWE is creating more outlets outside of what's just wrestling.
Exactly. Titus O'Neil has been on the roster, and I don't think he's been in the ring for the last 5 years.
Not because like WWE show you like, look, bro, I'm as much as it is about wrestling, we're growing people like Titus O'Neil. If he was to quit WWE today, he could go get a job anywhere being a public speaker because for the last 5 years since he ain't been wrestling, he's been the ambassador for the WWE. So all he does is he goes around and he does the speaking engagements because he's a And it's amazing. Like everybody always want to talk about how the WWE is racist and they do this to black people, but the ambassador of $1 billion entity is a black man.
And not just any black man, the black man that you would never look at being in the position he was in. I love the WWE because at the end of the day, bro, they still give people opportunities. Some of our favorite wrestlers who are no longer in the company or never got called up to the main card because they just didn't cut it in the NXT, some of them, it was their own fault. Okay? Because there is a difference between a wrestler and a sports entertainer. And me and you used to have this conversation all the time. I'm a huge Daniel Bryan fan, or Bryan Danielson, depending on what version of him you know. Okay? And I loved him because he always told a good story in the ring. Okay? You are a fan of building the whole story. It's not only about what goes on in the ring. You have to make me believe we can get here. And as much as I watch AEW, and right now there's a storyline that's honestly similar to Daniel Bryan's WWE storyline with the
I did. I was going back.
Occupy WrestleMania, where he has to wrestle his way to get to MJF. And MJF is throwing some quality wrestlers at him, which is making him work. But I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not interested in it as much as, let's say, back when there was the communication, there was the mic work, I did not believe Daniel Bryan would get to where he was until Daniel Bryan got to where he was, and he had one of the greatest WrestleMania moments. I felt that because the mic work and the ring work together made it a good product. I'm not saying AEW doesn't have the ability to do that, but with AEW, the bulk of their stories are always in the ring, and sometimes the right person ain't on the mic. You know, everybody over there are not talkers, and you throwing people at me all the time, and I appreciate the new look and seeing new faces, but if I don't know why I should care, like AEW this past week, Daniel Bryan, so Bryan Danielson, what the fuck is this? DB, shit. He had to go against Timothy Thatcher. I know nothing about Timothy Thatcher and why the fact that he has to go against him is such a difficult match. Why is this person so important that he has to work hard to get past him? You didn't build me up to this. But in the WWE, we would have known about Thatcher long before we even got to this match because he would have been built as being a beast. Or if you're making somebody difficult, you're going to give me the wrestler who is looked up as difficult. DB would have to go against a Walter before he can even get close to Roman. Even though we know you're going to go through Sammy, you're going to go through Solo, you're going to go through the Usos, but somewhere in the mix of it, you're going to have to wrestle Walter. And we know Walter will whoop your ass because they've always presented Walter as an ass whooper, not somebody who's on a whole nother company coming in for this one shot. And I'm supposed to be like, oh my God, you have a hard match. I love cross promoting. I love the conversation of the forbidden door. But if y'all gonna do all of this, these three companies working together, you gotta let me know who the hell these people are before you bring them in.
That's why I don't like it. It all sucks.
It don't suck. It's just you need some work. They're kindergartners. You have kindergartners going up against college grads when it comes to how to do this stuff. You just gotta wait till they become teenagers. Then they'll get it right. Okay, they'll get it right. Cause they sure do a lot of stuff that throw me off. The other day, AEW Jericho had a whole match, and then for the rest of the night, he's on commentary.
But AEW has been on TV since 2019?
3 years of wrestling, Juan. Four.
bro.
4 years of wrestling. You
I
can't.
don't.
You
How
can't.
long?
4
But we,
years.
but we know what wrestling's supposed to look like. We've had a blueprint for 50 years.
But think about it, bro. Your first 2 to 3 years, your whole goal, no matter what new company you start, your whole goal is you don't want to be a carbon copy of the other one because that's a recipe for failure. So I got to give you something unique. I got to give you something different. I got to bring in something that people know, but they don't get oversaturated with it. But the problem is we're now hitting that wall. Now that Vince walked away, and everybody who got there to AEW, who got promised all these opportunities and these storylines and these pushes, come to realize a push in AEW is not the same as a push in WWE. Prime example, the Undisputed Era in NXT is a completely different and more successful Undisputed Era than what it was when it came to AEW. Because you have one show that you have to satisfy everybody on that card, top to bottom. Whereas in the WWE had 3 separate shows that were treated as 3 separate shows. So you could leave UE on the 3rd show and let them be what's there while Raw and SmackDown were still doing their things. AEW has one show. I don't care what the Friday show is, just the rollover of what was left over from Wednesday, in my opinion. Okay?
Now, I totally understand that you cannot give people carbon copies of what's already on TV. I understand that. But at the same time, if there is a tone, what do you do for a hobby right now?
Right now, I play video games, smoke weed, and watch wrestling.
You are a podcast producer.
That's why we're friends. That's not a hobby. That's a job. But I see where you're going with this, so keep going.
Well, I mean, it ain't your 9 to 5er, but you do get paid from it, right?
Right. Sure. I see where you're going with the stories. Keep going.
When you train someone to do what you do, you have a blueprint and a formula for how you get it done and how you're going to show them, right?
Right.
And you're going to show them, like, look, this is how I do it. And to the best of my knowledge, we've been around for over 10 years. It seems to work. These podcasts come out. Nobody has a problem with anything that I'm doing. So if you show somebody your formula, and then if they was to step out on their own and do it, I mean, they could throw their little tweaks in, but as long as they stick to what Tone showed them, it should always work.
But you have to remember this and be honest with me. Nobody showed Tony Khan what to do. Tony Khan, and this is not a knock on him, is an example of an individual who likes wrestling and wants to play the GM mode.
I feel like that's what Tony Khan does.
That's what it is.
I feel like Tony Khan just plays GM mode with professional wrestlers.
And he's doing it in real life. And because he's playing with GM mode, he's just like on the regular GM mode. It's going to take years instead of weeks for him to unlock improvements. Okay?
But at the same time, it's like, even though you want to be different, it's just like when we watch bad superhero movies. It's 40 years of source material that you have to pull from. How do you make a bad movie? Now, you ain't got to make it like Batman in speaking. It doesn't have to be the Batman in the comic book to the T, but at some point in this movie, we need to see resemblance of what looks familiar before you start hitting us with the new shit. And I feel like AEW it's not a familiar vibe, and then you sprinkle in like, all right, this is what Tony Khan. This is the Tony Khan flavor. Like, give me a little bit of what Vince got, because it's obviously worked for 50 years. The nigga's still on TV.
This is why
You
you
busy
don't get.
trying to not be a carbon copy. You failing because you don't stick to the formula.
But here, it's not always just Tony Khan. So we're not going to put all the fingers on him. One of your biggest issues is you are taking what can be described as damaged goods. You're taking wrestlers who got fired from the WWE for whatever reasons. You're taking wrestlers who couldn't cut it when they were over there. You're taking wrestlers who couldn't reach through break through the glass ceiling, so if they go somewhere else they can be the star that they couldn't be over here. And you're taking these people and you're taking their POV of what Vince McMahon did. And because of that, a lot of times you want to do so. Oh, you know what? We saw you over there, and when you were over there, you should have been number one. How would you do things? So now you're allowing people to have creative control over something that they thought was gonna work, and Vince was like, "Nah, that's not gonna work." And instead of saying, "Okay, why do you think it's not gonna work, Vince?" and let Vince tell you this is why it's not gonna work, they was like, "You're just trying to hold me down. I'm gonna go over here and do it the way I wanted to." And then you come to find out, yeah, that's just not gonna work. I should have listened. So
No,
not
some people shouldn't have creative control over
some
whatever
people
they got.
shouldn't. And sometimes it's just things just people just don't work. Some people just don't work, fam. And I hate to say it. Sometimes you need to not be in the WWE to realize it didn't work. Prime example. Christian was my boy. Christian has always been my boy. But we all know that Christian was never supposed to be in the WWE. Okay? Edge just loved his people enough that he put his career or his opportunity to be in the WWE on the line to bring his boy with him. And Vince was like, I want you so much. Yeah, bring him on. So Edge and Christian became a thing. But Christian didn't really get the recognition Christian was supposed to get until he left the WWE and went to TNA. He went to TNA and he was the man. Okay? The man. First time in a long time where two tag team people both held the heavyweight titles at the same time. I think Edge was champion over here, Christian was champion at the exact same time. Or it was at least a 1 to 2 day window that they swapped out. Like I think one lost it when one got it. But when Christian came back, he came back with all that momentum, but Vince still didn't see Christian as, "You're just not what I want, my dog, my guy. I can't do nothing with you." To the point where the momentum got him the belt, but Vince didn't want you to have the belt. So we'll give you the belt to get the fans happy, but Randy took it right from you because that's what Vince felt was best for business. And Christian leaves and he goes to other companies, and Christian does a great job in other companies. He just can't break the glass ceiling here. But I love me some Christian. That's my dog. It's funny.
Now, I agree with that. I think everybody is. I feel like it's like we said earlier. I feel like everybody wants to work here. Like at some point in time, everybody wants to be in the WWE, but then getting here is the culture shock when you realize, like, oh, maybe I'm not cut out right now to be here. I want to be here really bad, but it's not working out. I've gotten plenty of like. There's a lot of wrestlers who get ample opportunity in the WWE, and it just don't work. And that's not you as a performer, and it's not the booking. It's just not what the fans want. We buy the tickets, we buy the pay-per-views, we buy the merch, so they can shove you in our face all they want. But if we not buying it, bro, you're gonna slide down the card.
Yeah, and sometimes you have to accept the fact that you are a mid-carder. You are an enhancement talent. You are great for house shows. I feel like I get it. Nobody wants to be the 10th 11th or 12th man on the bench. But if we all are going to make it to the finals to get the ring, to get the championship, we all got to play our roles. You being the 10th, 11th, or 12th man in this moment and playing this role could lead to you being the sixth man coming off the bench. That could lead to you being the star. You just got to play your role.
What with professional athletes, and it's not just wrestling.
It's athletes, period.
I feel like there's a lot of ego involved, like especially when you're good elsewhere. It's just like I watched the Ric Flair documentary a couple weeks ago.
I still gotta watch that.
That's on Peacock. It's really good for those who haven't seen it. It's just like, even like, you know how you know somebody's old. Like when you go back and watch like old wrestling, you be like, I knew he was old, but I didn't think he was that old. Like when Ric Flair got to the WWF the first time in like 90, 91, I didn't know Ric Flair was in his 40s already. Like Ric Flair 43.
That's because back then everybody was old before they even made it to the WCWs and the WCCWs and the USFW. They were already old. Like niggas was working. The thing about it is niggas was working the wrestling chitlin circuit for at least 10 to 15 years before they even seen any sign of a paycheck. That's why I respect old school wrestlers so much, because there is no way in hell I'm taking full-blown hits with unprofessional people with dad bods for $25 a match. Because it wasn't no money in wrestling back in the days, bro. But we got folks who was really out here doing this and then go to work the next day at a steel mill.
But to circle back to your original point, yeah, so it's like Ric Flair got here. Like, it's a brand, like, he was the man in the NWA in the Southern Territories. Like, Ric Flair was God to them.
Right.
But then you come over here with another guy and you not really being God. Like the fans ain't respecting your God level tier. Is Hogan a nothing up here? Even though you still Ric Flair, like you the best. But you came up here and it just didn't click how it should have clicked. Like Ric Flair should have been instant money in the WWF.
That's because Ric Flair was a wrestler and Hogan was an entertainer. There was, whatever our personal issues with Hogan as an individual is going to be there. But as the status of wrestling and a wrestling icon, when that man's music hit or when he showed up, there was nobody in the crowd who was not going crazy for him. Okay, there was nobody. It was unheard of for Hogan to be booed pre-NWA because he brought energy. He made you feel that in that moment, everything is going to be all right. If this person is being the biggest villainous jerk of all time, you may have vanquished a few mid-carders, but if Hogan's coming, you're going to get your comeuppance. He was always built for the comeuppance. That is a wild word to say out loud.
The comeuppance. Hogan was built for the comeuppance. That's crazy.
That's crazy. But that is why when Ric Flair showed up, it was kind of hard for him to be the man because Vince made one mistake. Vince didn't properly build Flair as a super heel. Okay? He built Ric Flair as what Ric Flair was. Ric Flair was a flashy guy. He was money. He was wild. And, he had the cash. Flair, IRS, DiBiase, Virgil. That was your stable that you did not make.
Hey, low key, that's fire. When you look
see,
at that was a stable
you did not build.
That might have been a strong tag team, just
That
like the
that
Flashy Boys. Like I don't know
that
what you
is
call them.
pure. That is Money Inc.
That's the
That is
cartel, bro.
That
Rick,
is Money Inc. That is your pure Money Inc. You got the $1 million man. There is no argument because DiBiase was the villain at the time.
ultimate
Great,
scammer, ultimate
greatest,
scammer.
greatest gimmick known to mankind. Then you got Flair. You talking about Mr. Wheeling and Dealing, styled and profile. He looked like real money. Even though this is wrestling, Flair lived money. Because you got to remember, you already got DiBiase taking petty cash and going out here and buying regular shit with hundo. So you already selling the dream that these niggas got money. Then you got IRS. IRS makes sure money keeps coming in no matter what. Then you got bodyguards, which is Virgil, because that's at the point in time that's all bro was gonna be. Then you got Paul, you got Henny, who's your Paul Heyman of his time. So you got talkers, you got flashy people, you got scammers, you got people who know how to work the ring in the system. You needed to put Flair with DiBiase, and I guarantee you, he would have made Hogan look even greater than he was. Because somebody got to stop these rich niggas.
Somebody got dog. Hogan taking down corporate America would have been hilarious.
Boom. There you go. Right there.
Yeah.
Right there. And then you already got your working man people. So just because, boom, let's keep it a buck. Let's make this your Survivor Series match, okay? We got IRS, DiBiase, Flair. You might be to throw Virgil in there, but let's just not put him in there.
I'd have gave him Undertaker because I still feel like Death and Taxes was slept on.
Death and Taxes. Okay, let's say it's a debut one. Ooh, do you know how a massive Taker debut would have been if it would have been with that Money Inc. setup that we just did? Then you got Hogan. You get Dusty in there because you got the hardest working man. Okay? Plus, he can go toe-to-toe with Flair.
Hogan and Dusty as a tag team, I'm rocking with.
You know what I'm saying? You throw Macho in there. You might not have to, but if you want to just go ahead and keep some things, put Macho in there, and then we'll bring one more rando who, somebody got to get sacrificed to take her off top. Let's throw Hacksaw in there because he's an All-American.
I feel like that's a dream match that we never got.
We never got. Just listen to this is how you set Flair up. That way you look like you're going to get this Hogan stare down with Flair. Now, the only issue I think that would have happened that we had to be concerned about is making sure Taker looked good without having him basically get destroyed by Hogan. Because at the end of the day, Hogan is the one who's walking out grand champion on this, but it's got to be some scheming. So we definitely got to make it look like, first of all, he takes DiBiase, he takes Hacksaw out with ease. Taker cleans house, okay? Dusty in here, he getting his shit off. We get IRS out of here. He, go toe-to-toe with DiBiase. DiBiase kind of there. But, maybe we can do Dusty and Taker, and it's a count out. That way you protect Taker, but he still look like a monster. Now you got Hogan in here with Flair, DiBiase. DiBiase and Flair, they pulling all the dirty tricks in the game. Flair gets caught. That's how he loses. We get him out the door because he got caught cheating. Now we known as a heel. Hogan got shit in his eye. He got brass nuts. He got powder. He got something where he's not supposed to win. So DiBiase really trying to take advantage of this. But of course, Hogan regains. Boom. Drop DiBiase because at least DiBiase gonna take the L. This sends Hogan home. Hogan still looks good, but we still got this dope ass stable over here. Soon as a new game drop, bro, they're my stable. I'm putting it together. We are running through shit. The Real Money Inc.
Hey, I would have been like, because I've been down this rabbit hole of just watching like old wrestling, and I can see how they kind of position Flair to already be Ric Flair when he came in.
And he came in with the belt. Remember that too.
Instead of like kind of like positioning Flair as a heel and then letting him kind of like they threw him at Hogan like right away instead of letting him like beat up some mid-level baby faces and then him and Hogan kind of eventually have this face off. He walked right in the front door. It's like, hey yo, Hulk, I know this your house and all, but I'm gonna take a piss right here on the porch. And it didn't go the way they thought it was gonna go. But,
yeah.
So I have a question for you since we are here and we are talking wrestling and it is Black History Month.
Okay.
Give me your 5 favorite African American wrestlers.
5 favorite African. Now, I have to ask 2 questions. Okay. Number 1, does The Rock count as African American or Samoan?
Because his daddy is black, he's still technically a nigga.
Okay. Do Samoans count as niggas?
Nah.
Okay.
I don't know if we could count.
I'm just saying. I watched Total Divas, and before we knew the Jay and Jimmy we see every day on TV, they was
niggas. They was
niggas. You couldn't tell me any other way.
I feel like they had the best character change in like the last 10 years.
Yeah, because that old school Samoan, the traditional Samoan, to niggas who happen to be Samoans.
Exactly. You was like, hey, whatever y'all do in y'all personal time, just do it on TV.
And that's what they did. Okay, so favorite 5 black wrestlers of all time?
All time.
Ooh. I mean, it's hard, but not, because 1, there's some wrestlers that never really made it up the card or even on regular TV for us to really, rock with them. But then there were some old wrestlers who get like praise and love that I honestly didn't care for. It was one of those, I watched the match because you're black. Okay. All right. So starting on the current one. Honestly, bro, Carmelo Hayes is my dog right now. Like,
I fuck with Carmelo Hayes.
Carmelo Hayes actually has made my list because this current generation of wrestling and the swag era that started to be something that's showing up. In regards to that is actually like he's a perfect fit where he can be black and swaggy. Okay. To be able to cheat and still do this, I'm gonna have to say Street Profits together, because Tez is automatically was gonna make my list, but Dawkins has been wilding lately, bro. Dawkins has been getting his stuff off with the dad bod.
Here's my question about Dawkins, because like, has he like? I feel like Dawkins has always been good. We just really started paying attention because it's a possibility that coming in the future they're gonna split the Street Profits up.
I think because
I feel like he's always been good. We just really started looking at it now.
We're just starting to look at it right now, but I give Street Profits credit. They're smart enough to know it's time to adjust to a change. See, with Bianca, which is also on my list, because there's very few black women wrestlers, period. But athletically, Bianca is she's outside the mold. She's good. She's pretty. She's likable. She's scandal free. Like, and she's herself. I don't see Bianca as being a character. Like, a lot of your women wrestlers are a caricature. But I feel like that's her. I feel like if you met her in person, you're going to get the same woman you get in the ring when it comes to personality. Because people like Jazz, we loved her body. Not Jazz. We loved because she was just muscular and strong. Jackie, we loved her body. Layla, she was cute. Damn, we ain't got too many other black women wrestlers, do we? You got all the ones over there in AEW right now, which since we here, I want to go ahead and get this off my chest. I'm tired of
Don't you say nothing bad about Jade.
I'm tired of Jade now.
Oh, come on,
I'm
Tom.
tired of Jade. What that is going to when we get to the end, it's like the storyline we tired of seeing and the storyline we need to push. Jade is the storyline I'm tired of seeing. I'm sorry, Juan. She's a storyline I'm tired of seeing because
Now,
it's the same match. I get it. We're building her as being stronger, but you're not building her as a story. I feel like every week you're just fighting someone new to have you on TV. You took away the baddies, which was the best thing about you. This is why I could tolerate her being green with a belt because the baddies carried you. The baddies is what kept everything entertaining with you. Even made it believable, like with you being green, your girls jumping in your match, and they're the reason why you're escaping some of these situations with actual good wrestlers. So I could live with you making it to 50, knowing some matches you should have lost. It builds the fact that you are possible beatable, but as you get better and you get more, good matches under your belt, now I can start to believe we're at 50, we're at 60, we're at 75. I'm not feeling this. It's like these are people who are trying out for AEW and we're throwing them at Jade and Jade beats them.
see,
I'm, I'm done with
he,
her.
here's where, to my other point earlier, when I say you have so like you got source material and then you try to do it and then it's bad. Like I love Jay. I love everything about Jay, but I understand that you're the carbon copy to what we've seen already. WWE kind of lucked up on Bianca Belair. It was like, oh shit, we got this in the tuck. I didn't know you was this good. Come on.
I,
And
I
then
think
as they started to showcase Bianca, Bianca's gotten better. Then it was like AEW was like, we need one of those.
this is
Who
why.
who we got?
Now, this goes back to
Jay was the closest thing that looked like it. She's just not as good. She
this
looks good, but she's half talented.
But goes back to the point of you say, give me what I'm already used to. Vince gives you the blueprint for it, and then you drop the ball with Jade. Because imagine if Jade wasn't cute and Jade wasn't cut to perfection, would y'all even care about her storyline?
So does she not look? So are we trading her looks for ability?
I would rather have ability with average looks
I can deal
because
with that.
I would rather have ability with average looks. With Bianca Belair, I'm going to be honest with you. You may not have watched any of the Mae Young Classic, but the Mae Young Classic actually showed me that all of these women that you see here now were going to be where they were going to be at no matter what. It was just a matter of time of when do we find the perfect point to put you in, because I've seen the Kyrie Sangs and the Io Skies and the Bianca Belairs, and I've seen the Pipers, I've seen the Nikki Crosses, I've seen all of the divas or the superstars or whatever they're going by right now, long before they got put in our faces, and Bianca was a standout to me. Because
Yeah, see, I didn't watch much of the Mae Young
yeah,
Classic.
so saying you
So
didn't watch him. I got bored one day and decided to go back because I'm a huge fan of going back and seeing stars of yesteryear. Like, how were you in the beginning? Because that's when I found out that Ricochet used to have long flowing hair. Now I can't even picture him with hair.
I never knew he had hair, but I did know he used to wrestle under a mask.
No, he had long when he was in damn, it's on Peacock, it's on the network. It's one of those Evolve. Is it Evolve?
Yeah, that might be it.
Evolve. He was in Evolve, one of the first two shows for the Evolve card. Ricochet is in that match, and bro has a Shawn Michael. he has a laid back Shawn Michael ish flow to it. But That's never there. But that's just it. Wrestling for black wrestlers for now is so big that we've hit that point in wrestling where your skin color doesn't even matter anymore. The last glass ceiling as a black wrestler that we had was the was a black person winning the WWE title, which Kofi did. Okay. And Kofi deserved it. Don't get me wrong. It should have happened a long time ago. But if I'm looking back at older wrestlers, hey, bro, Bad News Brown was actually on my list.
I won't say that Kofi should have been world champion a long time ago, but I was happy when it happened.
I feel like Kofi became champion when he supposed to be. Because young Kofi, baby Kofi, would have just been transitioned. The minute Kofi would have won that belt back then when he had the situation with Randy,
Yeah,
he would have
he dropped it ASAP.
He would have dropped it ASAP. Only because to me, nobody could get behind Kofi. Kofi needed exactly what Kofi got that got him there for Kofi Mania in order for him to actually have the belt. If he had that moment when he was younger, we would have been like, yeah, let's get this kid the belt. We're proud of him. Too bad he's not really from Ghana, but from Jamaica, but we're still happy for him. And then the next big star, they would have destroyed him. He would have got destroyed.
It'd have been Cena. And then we'd have had to hate Cena. Because that's exactly who it would have been.
It would have had to, and it would have been back to Randy and Cena all over again. And I'm not mad at it. I liked it when it was. I will tell you this, I'm more so sad about the Big E situation because it was Big E's time and he was moving in the right direction. It was just bad timing because I think when Big E became champion, we were in the middle of the pandemic, right?
No, Big E won the belt in 2021. Like he won it like that toward the end of the summer.
So he won it like when we were coming out of the pandemic.
Yeah, once we started putting people back in, we started filling buildings by then. By the time.
Right, we started filling buildings again, and by then we wanted to be there for the moment, and it was like, yeah, I'm happy for you, bro. But then Vince turned around and fired everybody.
Well, that's because he was touching people he shouldn't have been touching.
No. He was touching who he was supposed to touch. Somebody decided to tell his business. That's the difference.
When they leak who told on Vince McMahon, that's gonna be the greatest story ever.
It's gonna be the other Khan.
You think it was Nick Khan? It was Nick Khan.
It was a Nick Khan, bro. Because like the theory of all of a sudden Nick Khan shows up and WWE completely changes. I don't know, man. Sounds like the ops to me. But yeah, so my old school would definitely have to be Bad Dude Brown. And then the final person I'm gonna have to add to my list, dog, is I gotta add Ron Simmons. He gave us an all-black stable, bruh. You can't argue about an all-black stable. So who will you put on your 5? Lost Swan for a minute there, people. Be right back. Meanwhile, we'll go ahead and watch Mickie James as she comes into the ring on an Impact episode. One of my favorite white wrestlers. All right, there you go.
Where's Booker T on your list?
You know what, fam?
Oh, Tone, don't tell me Booker T didn't make the list, bro.
Here's my thing. As my all-time favorite, he definitely would be number 6. It's the new. It go back to what I said before. It's so much good talent that's African American now that some classic people you come off by accident.
Hey, you're not wrong. I've been debating niggas about that. Not even just with wrestling, like How you feel about the athletes of wrestling? That's how I've been trying to tell niggas about the NBA.
Like
Like at some point, we have to reconfigure these lists because the NBA is getting younger, and you cannot keep holding these old niggas to a high standard.
like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was great during his time. He definitely changed the game in regards to big men, but you got better big men now. You got faster, more athletic people. You got shooters. Like you have people who play the five position that could literally play the 3, 2, and some ones. It'd be weird. They'll probably get picked a lot, but it's not the same game. And that's how I feel about wrestling. This is not the same wrestling of Hogan's era. And it's not harder for a person of African American color to come in, make their impression, and legitimately be the man. Rock is literally the greatest, it's probably the biggest known wrestler of this current century. Okay. Some may even say bigger than Hogan because of his movie career. Rock didn't make my list because for wrestling, he had a 7-year impact. Okay.
You don't got to explain to me, bro. I have these fights
no,
with wrestling fans.
I say this, you have to remember we're a show, so there's people who listen who I can tell you, The Rock didn't make your list. Why would you even ask the question about The Rock and he didn't make your list? Rock had a 7-year impact in regards to wrestling. He was very entertaining. He definitely helped move sports entertainment to exactly that, to sports entertainment. He is not my favorite because I am not a huge fan of catchphrase wrestling. I am a fan of realistic wrestling and realistic commentary. If two individuals get into a microphone match and during that match a little bit of personality comes out of it, that is what I like. The Seth and Riddle segment impacts me even more than anything Rock and Austin could ever say.
Damn, man, that shit was fake as fuck. That's crazy.
And the reason why is because in that moment, just that little nuance of Seth going a little bit too far on Riddle, causing Riddle to stop being the stoner that he is and really want to have the urge to come out and, nigga, I want to whoop your ass. The fact that they had the parking lot situation, that even though it was fake, it could have been real. As a fan, for you to walk, getting ready to, get in line with your ticket and whatnot, and you look up and you see Seth and Riddle really throwing hands in the parking lot, even though it's scripted.
I fucked with that thought process because it could have been real. They could have really been in the parking lot fighting. I got
right.
it.
But the fact that we come out and you calling me a Rudy Poot, candy ass, and SmackDown Hotel and catchphrases left and right, you become predictable. When you become predictable, I don't care.
I told all of TikTok, and they told me I was crazy because I'll be on the TikTok.
I see you on the toxic tick.
I'll be on TikTok because I'm vibe with the wrestling community. It's a few of them that follow me back. Shout out to y'all. Like I vibe with them.
And it's funny because you just did a TikTok, which the funniest thing in the world, somebody else had just did the same TikTok about the situation. What was the last clip you did?
Was it wrestling related?
I think it was.
Oh, I might have to look. I forgot. We've been talking a lot about wrestling on TikTok. But yeah, because somebody made a video. It was like, who is your top influential wrestlers in the game or of all time? And I was like, it was Cena, Austin, and it was Ric Flair. And everybody was in the comments like, no Rock, no Rock. I'm like, bro, The Rock was Ric Flair with about 5 extra catchphrases.
Oh, it was the Jay-Z really considered a top 5 rapper.
Oh, when they like Jay-Z was garbage. I was so upset.
I literally seen somebody. It was Joey. What's his name? Damn. Joey Greasy. He literally had just went in and broke down. And then the very next TikTok was you was like, hey man, I'm not a huge Hov fan, But you smoking dope if you don't think the
Right.
talking. But
No, but I'm
that's all.
saying.
No, no. Save that one for when we back in the studio. Say that for back in the studio. We talking wrestling here.
But it's a lot of wrestlers like when I was just read the group and it'd be like the people that Anthony don't like. I was just like, how you like Kenny Omega, but you hate the Almighty? This is the best Bobby Lashley has ever been.
True.
And
It
he's
had
doing it with limited mic work. Like Bobby really don't be out here cutting promos like that. He just come out here and beat you up.
because that's what MVP was for.
But that's what I like though. Like some people should be on the microphone. Like a guy with a personality like The Rock, cool. Seth Rollins on the mic, cool. But then there are some guys who like, I need to just be physical and impose. And
That's why.
when I do talk, it should be very few words. Like
That's why
Brock's
I
promos
liked.
aren't long and drawn out. Bobby's promos shouldn't be 7 segments long. Like let me slap you around. Because that's what
That's
I'm here
why
for.
I liked when we were in the MVP lounge with Theory, and Bobby came out, and MVP was like, "Hey, dog, you can't be interfering." Blah blah blah. And I think Theory said something to Bobby. I can't remember what it was. He
He
either
said,
dis
yeah. He said, yeah, that's right. Listen to your daddy. So
and
MVP stepped to the
MVP
side.
was like, "You know what? Do what you gotta do, my guy."
I tried to help you. You're not listening.
And that
You're
is
not
what
listening.
I like that. You want to know why I like that? Because it did not have to be said, but because you did it, this is the outcome you get. I always felt with the Rock promo, you were going to get one of those stupid t-shirt catchphrases. And I got tired of that.
Like looking back on the Rock's career, like the promo, like I don't think it would. I
Them
don't think
promos was cheesy, fam.
I don't think he could be like he couldn't get that shit off in 2023.
Not at all, kind sir.
Like it's one thing to have like a end of maybe because I watch a lot of battle rap, I understand like if you end with something, because like most battle rappers, they spit their bars and then at the end of the verse, they have their little slogan. Now, if you say your promo and then you hit them with the if you smell, I am okay with that because you get the crowd into it and then they cut to the crowd. So he should only have two high spots in his promo. When he says the millions, and then he pauses, and then the people say the millions. And then when he ends it and says, if you smell what I'm cooking, and the only two high spots you should have in a promo. But he like Rudy Pools, Jabronis, Jelly Donuts, there's a hotel, and a rock burger. It's like,
Right.
yo,
Like
what are you talking about?
all that was it was corny, but then you got to think about it, dog. That era of wrestling was corny as hell. It was. And when you go back and you actually look at the Attitude Era, and as much as people were allowed to say what you wouldn't be able to say with the old wrestling, it was corny. It was a lot of corny stuff being said. It was a lot of corny concepts going on. I love Gable. I do. But the shoosh, it's corny, bruh. It's corny as hell.
But I like it because that's his only thing.
That's his
Like
only thing.
like Gable will cut a regular promo and he'll cut you down like a heel, but the shoosh is the only gimmick to it. It's not
Right.
7 gimmicks. And then yeah. So
Yeah,
I'm cool with the shoosh.
all right. So before we get out of here, what's your 5? Since we know that we're not putting The Rock on there, people, not because we don't, because remember, this is our favorite. So we're not saying that The Rock is good. He's just not making my list. And I don't know, maybe he makes bros, but he's not making mine.
Well, if I would do it, I do mine in sections. So like throwback, like past wrestling, I got Rock, Booker T. Honorable mention for some odd reason, I was a fan of Ahmed Johnson. Don't ask me why.
Because they keep using him as the rib meat with.
I don't know. Like I'm for some reason, like 96, I was like, yo, Ahmed Johnson is nice.
I couldn't, bro. He came out there with the Daisy Dukes on, bro. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, so
and I like girls.
So Rock, Booker T. Damn, I know there's more black people from back in the day. Like, damn, even like Kurt. I fuck with R-Truth. I do
Okay.
like R-Truth.
I like pre WWE R-Truth
Yeah,
over WWE R-Truth.
yeah.
So
TNA R-Truth,
TNA
killing it,
R-Truth
killing
was
it.
killing it. He was definitely out here. He was killing it legitimately. I also like Truth because he's the reason why we have an Xavier Woods. People don't know that. Because Xavier Woods showed up, and when he was doing the Consequences Creed, they wasn't vibing with his gimmick. It was really cheesy and whatnot. Truth said, "Give me the kid." And he took him and he was grooming him of how to make his gimmick work and how to make it stick. So they ran as Truth and Consequences for a good minute before X made the jump to NXT. So Truth, because X told him, like, bro, I want to be better. He was like, here, do this. I'm gonna go ahead, reach out to this guy at FCW, tell him I sent you. That's how he got in the door. Truth plugged him. Truth groomed him and he plugged him. And to this day, we would not have the New Day if it wasn't for R-Truth.
Well, you give R-Truth all the credit for the New Day.
If X don't make it, they don't become boys. He'll just been a nerdy kid, playing video games, skeeting on belts.
I mean, but of today's black athletes, it's a lot. Like I like Carmelo Hayes. You know who's a sleeper that I think gonna be really good once they start acclimating him to actually wrestle more than just being a sidekick. I like the nigga that rolled with Carmelo. Trick Williams is good.
I was gonna say Trip. You gotta watch whatever the NXT show that shows only on Peacock.
Oh, you watch Level Up?
Yeah,
I just watch highlights. I don't watch the full show.
You gotta watch Level Up because that's where the wrestlers who we see, who are usually in skits or side characters, that's where they wrestle at. That's how I seen Thea wrestle for the first time. Little chick from Chase U. Her first official match was on Level Up. And bro, that's mojo.
Oh, speaking of Chase U, I believe they won their match this past week on Tuesday, and now they will be inserted into the tag team title match, which is going on this Saturday. For those who didn't remember, as wrestling fans, it's my job to remind you that NXT Vengeance Day is this coming Saturday.
Dog, if they put the belt on Chase U, I'm
not mad.
I'm getting the sweater. I'm getting the sweater. I'm getting the sweater.
I'm not mad. I like Chase U.
I'm enrolling in Chase U. The only thing my love-hate for Chase U is it can definitely grow into something bigger, but it can never leave NXT.
That's very true. Well, I don't know.
It's not built for the main roster.
I feel like it can get over. Some gimmicks is about the presentation,
right?
So you have to present it in a decent way for people to get behind it. Like you can present it in a decent way, I think you can get over on the main roster. And I think you got enough like NXT failures to be like, all right, some gotta say. Like Bo Dallas could have been way bigger on the main roster.
I don't think Bo's character was believable. I think that was the problem.
You don't. So you don't think. We weren't in the trolling era of life then. It would work now.
It would work now
because a lot of people in the internet culture are nothing but trolls, and that's all Bo Dallas was. He's a troll. For him to lose and still tell you he won, or to come out of here with this like, "Hey, you lost, but you did a good job," like that would
annoy the hell out of you.
It was that's so good. Like I think you could bring back Right to Censor in this era of wrestling.
Can we change that music?
We can change the music.
We gotta change the music.
but because cancel culture is so big, like niggas want to cancel everything. The first slightest, they ain't look right, cancel it.
You know what, bro?
I think they would
You
work.
you right. An updated right to censor would work. It would. Every wrestler and everything about that wrestling, they would definitely have to be heels no matter what. But you really are everybody they face. It's something about them that needs to be canceled.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. This is how you get trash wrestlers off air.
You just
Or
start canceling them and repackaging them.
right, repackaging them.
Right,
Try it
bro.
down to NXT first because that's the one place where repackaging somebody is the norm.
This is also true. So, but like Tom said, before we do leave, let's just briefly see if I can pull it up real quick.
We're not gonna talk to Rumble because we still need to wait for Friday. We're gonna do Rumble next week.
No. Because NXT is this Saturday. I just wanted to, spruce over the card real quick.
Peep over the card.
Oh, and shout out to NXT going back on the road. A lot of people don't pay attention. They're going back on the road, so this will be the first. So they got rid of last year when they did the rebrand. They got rid of the whole takeover aspect, so no longer takeovers, which I thought that was stupid. I love the takeover name, but anyway, they got rid of the takeover name. So now all premium live events just has a name. It's not like NXT takeover Vengeance.
It's the same thing as the in your houses. If you go back and you look at what became premium pay-per-views, they all started off as numbered in your houses with sub names. So as the sub names started to become how we label this, because we want to keep running this every year, they had to drop the in your house. And that's what they really did with TakeOver. They just started dropping it because you can't keep calling it TakeOver Brooklyn because now you're guaranteeing every year we got to come back to Brooklyn to make this memorable. But if we just name it Vengeance, for an example, if we don't make it to Brooklyn and we end up being in New Jersey, still Vengeance. So I get it. But those takeovers mean more now. Those takeovers have a purpose. Because when you go back and you look at TakeOver Brooklyn or TakeOver Toronto or TakeOver Chicago, that was a moment that was very important because those takeovers, those NXT pay-per-views hit completely different than any other pay-per-views because those were defining moments that were never done. Because you got to remember, takeovers when we got our first not only women's match, that main event, but it was a cage match, if I'm not mistaken. That was 5-star. You're not getting 5-star cage matches with this new roster. You're getting good wrestling. You're getting great storyline, but you're not getting 5-star cage matches from women in NXT. That's main card stuff now.
The women's roster in NXT really is kind of trash.
It's trash, but we're in that period where the good guys got picked.
We're rebuilding. It's nothing but a rebuild. Eventually, they'll find some dope chicks that breeze through. But
we lost Mandy. We wasn't ready to lose Mandy.
Never say never. She may be coming back.
Oh, she's coming back, but
I don't know yet.
But she'll be back. As a matter of fact, when Mandy comes back, she coming main roster. She's not going back down to NXT. She coming main roster.
We got 6 matches on the card.
Okay.
Which I think, that's all we need for NXT. 6 matches. There's some bangers on here, so I don't know if this is going to be the particular order in which we'll watch the show. But match 1, we got Roxanne Perez, who Tone is a big fan of.
I just became a fan.
Tone's a fan of Roxanne Perez.
I didn't become a fan until the Rumble. I didn't care for her before.
So Roxanne Perez, the new NXT Women's Champion, she's gonna be defending her belt against Toxic Attraction in a triple threat match, that's very unique and interesting. They're still trying to keep this name alive, which is cool. I respect it.
It's how it's gonna play out is what has me. If you take the belt off of Roxanne, you have to do the flawless concept where both the girls hold the belt. You can't have You can't have one of them win and then the other one is supposed to be okay with her being champion. So you either have to have Toxic Attraction officially broken up and it's a three-way dance for this belt for a while. Roxanne has to walk out with the belt, or you have to have the flawless situation, the Lay Cool situation. That's the only way that match to me can go somewhere where I'll be content with the ending. Has to be one of those three.
All right, so second match on the card, which I think it's probably gonna be the sleeper of the night, if you ask me. Apollo Crews versus Carmelo Hayes, 2 out of 3 falls match.
For the culture.
That's for the culture?
That's for the culture.
That's gonna be a banger though.
Black on black wrestling, a 2 out of 3 falls in Black History Month. That match is for the culture. Wakanda forever.
That's all you gotta say about that one.
Wakanda. I don't care who wins. It's for the culture.
And he said, I don't care who wins. I think I'm with it. I got Carmelo Hayes pulling out the dub. Apollo Crews been there, done that. He don't need too many more wins.
Apollo Crews is another example of what we said earlier about you're not ready for the main card. So go back to NXT and do what you do best. Because we're not mad at him being down there.
No, not at all.
It's just if you pulled him back up onto the main card, he'll get lost in the shuffle.
This is true.
Because you're not beating Walter. And as long as Bobby is in the US title picture, we're not going to care too much for Crews.
Damn, bro, don't. Tone, we got to give him some love, bro.
Look, I love him, okay? But while Roman has these belts hostage, your heavy hitters on Raw are going for your mid-card belt. You're not going to make me believe that Apollo Crews could beat a Seth, a Riddle, a Bobby Lashley. Now, a Crews and Theory match, all for it. That could be a banger. But in the current state of mid-card wrestling, no.
Well said, young man. Well said. All right, match number 3 on the card. We got this is 2 more Tone's favorites. We got Katana Chance and Kaden Carter. I love them too.
I love them. I love me some Katana.
And they are going up against Fallon Henley and Kiana James. Them the 2 chicks that hang out with the cowboy niggas.
Yeah, and I'm trying. You know what? I got to go back and do some rewatching of how we got here. Them 2 grew on me. Okay, they grew on me. I follow Carter on Instagram because I'm for the culture. She didn't make the game last year, even though what's her name did.
Yeah.
Which I don't understand how she made the game though, but that's a whole nother conversation. Those 2 are interesting, but the fact that they actually have real chemistry in and outside the ring makes them great to watch. Plus, if you go back and you watch their feud with Stark and Lion, they was doing their thing. They were doing their thing. Lion got injured in real life, which caused Starks to have to turn on her so we can write Lion off TV for a while. But now that Starks is in her solo run and making her debut in the Rumble, I got potentials for her. I'm keeping my eyes on Starks. But my girls, they're not losing that tag belts. I'm sorry. For the culture.
He's always starting getting fired, so.
She's not getting fired, bro. She's intense.
That's what you call it?
She's intense. All
right. So match number 4 on the card. By the way, I got Katana and Kaden winning, so they retain. Yeah. Match 4 on the card. We got the New Day defending the NXT tag titles in a fatal 4-way. So they'll be going up against Gallus, which is Mark Coffey and Wolfgang, which I don't understand why Mark and Joe Coffey, who are the actual brothers, are not the tag team. I never understood this.
I don't know either, bro, but sometimes you just got to take what you got.
So we got Gallus, then we got Pretty Deadly. I like Pretty Deadly.
I hate Pretty Deadly.
Oh man, hey, Pretty Deadly's nice.
No. I don't hate them as in, oh my God, you guys suck. I hate them because they're heels who are doing what they're supposed to do.
No, they're good heels.
Yeah,
They're really great at annoying people.
right, and that's why I hate them. So you're doing your job. They would be the perfect entourage to give to the Miz.
I feel like Pretty Deadly is like the Euro trash version of what Fandango and Tyler Breeze were.
Yep, that's exactly what it is. You know what? No, they're the Euro version of male maximum models.
Who are trash.
Yes.
Real trash, big trash.
But they finna recruit Otis, so they might be interested.
Super dookie. Who you got winning this tag match? Oh yeah, and Chase U is here. Andre Chase and Duke Hudson as the tag team.
Okay.
I just wish my man's quit wrestling in his sweater.
Nah, man, no. It's bro. If Hit Row can wrestle in there going out to the club after this match outfit, my guy can wrestle in his sweater. Okay.
Tone, that's only because you're a fan of the sweater vest that you even okay with this.
I'm okay with the sweater look, fam. I'm okay. Here's the thing, bro. It's Black History Month, so I have to go with New Day. But if Chase U happens to upset, why is Mickie James wrestling Duke? You know what? I'm not gonna question it. She can get away with anything. I gotta go with New Day for the wins for the culture. But if Chase Hughes pulls it out, not mad. I'm here for it.
I feel like all the black people on this card don't lose.
New Day losing the belts, bruh. The only way I can see New Day losing the belt if they're going back to the main roster.
No, New Day definitely don't win this match. So the fifth match on the card is Wes Lee versus Dijak, who, for those who don't know, is Dominic Dijakovic, who has been repackaged to just Dijak.
Honestly, bro, I feel like Dijak is winning this because he needs the W.
I prefer if he lose.
I mean, Wes Lee is on a healthy run, and it's for the culture.
It ain't even about the culture. I just hate the fact that Dijak is out here looking like the Terminator in like leather pants. I just don't like the gimmick. Like if that was the case, you could have just remade him Dominic Dijakovic, just sent him back to what he used to be. Like
he can't be Dominic because Prison Dom is running things, bruh. The walking weapon, Josh Alexander. You know what? I fucks with that.
These niggas is terrible. But last, certainly not least, we got the main event, who are two of my NXT favorites outside of Carmelo Hayes right now. We got Logan Paul reincarnated.
Grayson Waller.
I'm telling you, bro, if Logan Paul was just a person, if Logan Paul never came to the WWE, but all the social media antics that he do, I'm telling you, it is Grayson Waller. If Logan Paul was a gimmick, it's Grayson Waller.
Grayson Waller is the troll that Bo Dallas should have been. Because Grayson is a troll, fam. He's the epitome of troll culture.
He's good though. Like
I'm not saying, and he's Australian, so that makes it even.
It is something about these Australian people. Like when they go get the Australian niggas who can wrestle, because I believe Walter's Australian too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's Australian or Austrian was one of the two.
But I'm like, these Australian niggas can wrestle. The chicks are fine. It's something we gotta go to Australia, Tony.
Yeah, because the Iconics.
We gotta go see what's up. Tony Storm is Australian too.
I don't like Tony Storm.
Indy Hartwell is Australian too.
I fucks with Indy because she's funny, but you gotta put her with Dexter again. You gotta put her back with Dexter.
We need an index reunion.
We need an index. We've already had an index reunion. We need the main roster to see how index works.
Yeah, I think it's time to call Indy up. If you're not gonna give her the belt,
I think everybody that got their moment in the Rumble is coming up after WrestleMania. I really do. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, the women's division, it's good, but it's not impactful like it used to be. Like, we lost Naomi and we lost Sasha. So we lost two good wrestlers. So that's two spots that opened up on from NXT for them. We can only take so much of Shotzi. We can only take so much of Xia Li. We can only take. I love me some Liv. I love me some Liv. But bro, if you don't stop throwing Liv at us, she not good. Then Bianca done lost out of challengers because she done wrestled everybody. So we need fresh blood for her. When Rhea get this belt, we can't keep doing Rhea Charlotte 27.
Man, that's the future of the company. Liv Morgan is the future.
She is, but in order for her to be the future, you gotta have a bench for her to work with. You got to. Becky, Bayley, I'm not saying that their time is done. They need fresh people to wrestle with too. I think it's time we need new people to look at. The men got a whole refresh within the last couple of years. It's time for the women to get they refresh.
I mean, it's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming. Liv Morgan and Shotzi and Raquel Gonzalez. Like, I mean, we got a couple people that's worth, paying attention.
We got some, right? We do. So bring up some other women that could definitely be there. Like Piper just came back. Nikki Cross just came back in her insane look. So I honestly feel like Nikki and Piper needs to be a tag team because the whole thing about Piper was she wanted them to drop the stupid gimmick. Now Nikki don't have it. Now Piper's back to whooping ass. Now y'all need to be the dominating force y'all was supposed to be.
But before we got sidetracked, Grayson Waller is wrestling Bron Breakker. And I think Bron Breakker, I feel like it's time for him to lose it, but I don't think he'll lose it now. I think he'll lose the belt like WrestleMania weekend or something.
But to who?
That's a good question. I'm gonna go on a limb. Bron Breakker is gonna lose the belt to Carmelo Hayes
because he lost it WrestleMania weekend last year. Dolph took it off of him.
Well, Dolph took it off of him before WrestleMania weekend.
It was during that same window.
Yeah, and then the NXT pay-per-view that they do on WrestleMania weekend, he got his ass whooped.
It's Stand and Deliver, yeah. So it was like, and then the next week he got it back.
Yeah, but when Bron Breakker does drop the belt, I think it's gonna be Carmelo Hayes that take it from him.
It should be Carmelo Hayes. I feel like when
for the culture,
when Solo took the belt from him for that brief moment in time, and Sean called an audible, that was Melo's moment where he was supposed to move into the main picture, in my opinion. But we'll see. So it seems like there's a black person in every single match.
Yeah, pretty much, except for the opening match and the main event. There's niggas all over this card.
Speaking of niggas, I hate Rick Swann, but
you cannot hate Rick Swann.
I can most definitely hate Rick Swann.
You cannot hate the man.
I hate the man because he's a shucking and he's a Coco Beware without a bird.
And Coco Beware made it to the Hall of Fame. And I don't think Rich Swann is getting in the Hall of Fame. So
he's not getting in the WWE Hall of Fame. Well, you know what? I won't say that. He was a cruiserweight champion.
Bro, he didn't do. He didn't do. Nah.
The cruiserweight division as a whole didn't do nothing.
Are you excited about the Hall of Fame coming up?
I don't even know who's gonna be in it. Who did they start announcing people yet?
They usually give up. They usually give away the big one, like around the Rumble. But no, they ain't saying nothing about the Hall of Fame yet.
Maybe we're gonna get that information on Friday.
Who else can they put in this stupid ass non-existent Hall of Fame? Is my question.
Anybody.
Next time we do this, we're gonna have to get Anthony to join us. He got to come in here and defend this AEW shit he be watching.
Cena will go into the Hall of Fame. This will be Cena's year.
Oh, what a double whammy! They gonna give him the cover of 2K and put him in the Hall of Fame.
This will be Cena's year. Because to me, he's been gone long enough that you can say he's retired.
If not saying it's the Rock time. Like at some point, we gotta put the Rock in the Hall of Fame.
Wait, Dog's not in yet?
Nope.
And then it'll be the Rock over Cena.
Yeah,
it'll be the Rock over Cena, and this is how you get the Rock and Roman at WrestleMania. You won't get a full match out of them. You'll get something. Now, I don't know, because anytime they keep bringing up the Rock, Triple H has been, Euro stepping it, talking about, man, schedule, if I'm saying, if his schedule can work, it could be the Swerve. It could be.
So you think that the Rock will show up at WrestleMania?
I think he will.
And that's cool. I would like I've been telling a lot of people, like, I'm not mad if he shows up. I just don't want Rock in this match at WrestleMania. Now, if we want to do something where we can get a moment with Rock and Roman, and then we start moving toward a match for like SummerSlam, cool, because by then we should have split the belts up. Roman should no longer be champion. Because you don't like Roman is this he's this era's GOAT. Like, he the man right now. He don't need a belt to main event anything.
He's bigger than the belt. Here's the crazy part. If the Sammy situation would have caused him to drop the belts and KO walked out as champions, Roman and Sammy could still main event WrestleMania and no one would be mad.
Oh no, we got a legit problem here. Yeah, I feel it.
Yeah. That's how I felt like the Rumble should have ended. Sammy should have costed Roman the belt, which could have led to KO getting beat down for taking the belt because Roman's so frustrated. And then the simple fact that this is when Sammy gets destroyed. So that way Roman is super heel and Sammy is super face, to the point where it's like the way you destroyed everybody caused Roman to completely lose his shit. We take Sammy off TV for a minute. That way, when we go into Elimination Chambers, there doesn't have to be a match, but the whole getting Sammy where he needs to be at. But, of course, Cody got to have his moment. Got to have the Cody moment. So, I just want to see how they're going to build this.
I feel like they're going to give Sammy a match at the Chamber because it's in Montreal. And for two, to avoid this disaster of a situation of the people turning on Cody.
Yeah, it's the word is it's gonna be Sammy versus Roman at the Chambers. I don't want a definitive win.
Well, no, because we gotta have a reason to get back to WrestleMania.
I don't want Sammy. I don't want Sammy to win. I don't even want the match to happen. I want it to be a pure beatdown.
Yeah, because Roman's wrestling both nights at WrestleMania. That's a fact. He's gonna wrestle Cody, and then he's gonna wrestle Sammy.
The reason I didn't want to talk Rumble because I wanted to wait and to see what happens on Friday before
we're not talking Rumble. We're talking about something totally different. We're talking about the bloodline. That's a situation. The Rumble is what happened there.
Well, once we
I didn't say who won the Women's Royal Rumble. You did. I didn't say any of this.
I didn't even say who won the Women's Royal Rumble yet.
You did.
I said Rhea. I was talking about Rhea. Rhea as a whole is a person who is gonna have her moment.
Right, it's coming at WrestleMania. We already know this.
We already know. I love the choice that she made.
I don't, but storyline purposes, I get why, but I didn't like it.
Stat wise is why. See, the person who everybody wants her to go against, you can do that whenever. That's the thing. Eventually, one of them two have to lose the belt. And the person we want her to go against, her belt can go to anybody, and we can still do her versus Rhea. But the person she did pick, that is gold standard for her. She can grand slam for there. She can close a chapter over there. And we can move the Judgment Day storyline around now too. Because the Judgment Day has like 4 storylines going on, bro. We can close one of them permanently.
Man, Prison Dom is the greatest thing that happened to Dominic Mysterio.
You niggas wasn't, nope, don't give me that because y'all wasn't feeling it. Until he went to jail, y'all wanted this man fired repeatedly. Yes, I have faith in Dom.
Yes, we did.
I made Prison Dom on the game, and the game crashed on me. Is the only reason why Dom's career did not continue. But I have faith in Dom. I said, let's just repackage the boy. Let's take him completely away from being Rey Mysterio's son and let Dom be him. I don't want him to even be anywhere remotely close to the Mysterio's name. And Prison Dom was born all because he tried to bring his girlfriend home for the holidays. And look at him now.
Hey, look,
he is only he don't even wrestle like Rey. He do more Eddie stuff.
His wrestling ability is still yet to be desired. But the character work is amazing. And like I said, if you have a great character, but you're mediocre in the ring, I can forgive you for being bad. Like, I can forgive you for being subpar at wrestling because your character is a character-driven business. You being a great wrestler is just like icing on the cake.
Bro, Hulk Hogan had 7 moves, and he carried wrestling for 20 years.
That's what I'm saying. Like Dom's like 23, bro. He's gonna get better. He just sucked right now.
The problem with Dom, okay, and this is he got lucky and struck gold with the Prison Judgment Day, but Dom should have never been on the main roster. We all know that Dom is only there because Rey wanted his moments before he calls it quits for good. Okay? That's the only reason why Dom is even up here. Dom knew he wasn't ready. Rey knew he wasn't ready. But he wanted his moment. He wanted to win gold with his son. He wanted to pass the torch to his child. And he wanted to have his one-on-one match with his son. Being at WrestleMania even makes it better. That's all we're getting. Because I guarantee you, by SummerSlam, Rey Mysterio will officially retire from in-ring performance. And he'll just pop up on Mexican TV shows. Because that's what he's doing. He just pops up on this Against the Rope show on Netflix. You actually should watch it. It's pretty interesting. As a wrestling fan, it's a show you should check out. But we've come to the end of this episode. We were only supposed to do an hour, but when me and Juan get to debating theories, because don't nobody want to be listening to us, we can go on for a while there.
Hey, bro, wrestling. I love wrestling. I can talk wrestling all day.
I'm saying, no. I'm saying when we talk, it's because we want to hear what each other has to say, no matter how wild it is. You know, our other wrestling friends, that's stupid, and they want to shut it down. It's a safe space. Okay?
Right. But with the day we get Anthony on this show, will not be a safe space for Mr.
You got to know, bro. You got to let him be his thing.
It will not be a safe space.
If all goes well, I'm going to try to get Andre to join us next week as we discuss the Rumble, because he went to his first Rumble, went to his first Big 4 pay-per-view. So I want to talk to him about his experience and how he felt about the card as it was going on.
Possibly I will be attending my first Big 4 pay-per-view if all goes well this summer.
You trying to hit the slam? Where's it at?
Detroit. Shit, right next door. Ain't no way
I
we can't
just
do that. Ain't
I
no
was
way
gonna
we
say
can't do that.
I just got the Buick, so we could definitely drive.
Yeah, ain't no way we can't do a SummerSlam in Detroit. Like it's impossible. Like we're going.
We're going. We are
Just
going.
just need to know when tickets are available, and then we are buying tickets.
How you want to be on floor? Or do you just want to be there?
I I just want to be there, but if my money is right, it will allow me to be on the floor. And they haven't even decided what building they want to do it in. So like we don't know if they're gonna do it where the Tigers play baseball, where the Lions play football, or if they're gonna do it where the Pistons play in Little Caesars Arena. But
Oh,
seeing
but the
that
thing about
the run that they've been on, I doubt they do it in the Little Caesars Arena.
no, it's got to be it's got to be where the Lions, because that year we went to WrestleMania. I'm trying to think, were they in the Pistons Stadium? Yeah, we were in the Pistons arena. So I need to see. It's funny because all three of them are right next to each other.
I mean, they did 20.
When I tell you all three of them are next to each other, it's like the blue building next to the Grand, next to the Ambassador Hotel.
Why is the baseball stadium that close to the football stadium?
Like literally, it's just a street that separates all three of them. They literally, it's a T shape that goes right there. You remember that the Detroit one where Cena drove the sports car down
Yeah,
the
that's
street?
that's where the Lions play. That's Ford Field.
He
Is that the
drove
street he was
past.
going down?
That was the street he was going on. So he took off from where the Pistons arena was. He drove alongside the Lions arena, and he rolled right past the baseball stadium. It's all of that one shot.
Now I gotta go and watch it just so I can see.
Yeah, it's all of that one shot. They all in that one corner.
That's crazy.
It
But
is.
can't wait to do SummerSlam this year. We gonna get to it. Hopefully next week we get what's the guy name?
Andre.
Yeah, I like it. It was here, and then I'm looking at the basketball TV. I see a nigga named Andre, but I don't want to call him Iguodala.
I was like, you looking at Iguodala or Karolinko?
Neither one should be here.
No. But make sure you check us out on all streaming platforms. That's Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Make sure you catch us live every Saturday night at 8 p.m. as we do the Death Fresh show. It's going to be a hoot. Over the course of the next few months, we're going to be on our love tour. So you definitely want to sit there and not only check us out at how we talk and discuss about, relationships in today's society. We're also going to be joined by some people who are going to have some interesting viewpoints on what they do. And of course, always follow us on YouTube, where you can check out our wrestling conversations, because I talk wrestling. With that being said, people, we are out of here. Peace. And